Alright, my name is Bryce Como, and I've been tasked with implementing a mechanic into this level that was designed by a peer. The mechanic is the mine tile, and it was originally designed by Brandon Torres. So what he did for the mine tile is that he originally had it to where if you walked on it with a player character, your player character would die and respawn. However, if you push an object into it, then the mine would go away. I've taken this design and improved on it a tiny bit. What I've done is I've made it to where the mines now have a variable amount of uses. So for this mine here, indicated by the 2 cones, it has 2 uses. So I'll need to push 2 of the objects into it. You can see that as I push 1, the 1 cone goes away, indicating only 1 needs to be used. And then as I push the second one into it, the last goes away, and it's now a walkable tile. This combined with the pressure plate and removable wall that I implemented in the first half, I'm now able to complete the level. Alright. Let's see. On to the coding side of things. We still have our 2 blueprints here for the wall and pressure plate that I covered in our last assignment. And then over here for the mine tile. First thing we do is when it's entered, we call for the parent functionality because we don't want anything that would normally happen to not happen. Then we check what is on the tile. So if it's the player or an interactable tile. If it's the player, then we disable the player's input. We give them a few seconds to realize what's happened, and then we respawn them at the beginning of the level. If, however, it's an interactable, what we do is, again, we disable the player's input just so they can realize what's happening. There's a very small delay, and then we update the number of uses, which is a variable that we have over here, which will make the number of mines tick down by 1. And then we check to see if that count is currently at 0. If it is, then we'll change the tile to a floor tile, update the tile, and then give the player back control of their character. If the set is not at 0, then we just update the mine tile to its current number and then give the player back control. To actually set the number, we have it just so that it reduces by 1 each time, since the mines will never increase while playing. And then to set the markers, for the visual aesthetics, we have it anytime the set mine markers is called, we first check to see if there's 1 marker. If there is, we get rid of cones 1 and 2. And if there are 2 markers, we get rid of cone 3. The only other state would be 0, in which case it would switch back to a floor tile, or 3, in which case we want all 3 of our cones to spawn. So I think that just about covers it for its anything that we added. That's all the functionality here. And then again, we have the begin on play is the same from the parent, and then we're always checking the number of markers that you can see in the actual event graph. It spawns with 3, but as soon as we actually start the level, it checks to see how many it should have, and you can see it's 2. It's also an instance editable variable, so that way you can change it on the fly if you want this to have 2, 3, or 1. It is capped off at 3 though, because that's what I felt like was necessary. Alright.